Salena Zito, congratulations on the new book. And we're so impressed by this picture. Anyway, how you doing?
I'm swell. Thank you so much for having me. You know, the cover of that book, the photo was taken by my daughter, a photojournalist who was with me that day.
It's pretty cool, and you talk about that, and I think the guy who wanted the beef jerky was like a family mission for you. Do you mind if we start with this, though? This is totally wild. Tell us a story about how George Washington was almost killed in Butler, Pennsylvania. I had no idea.
Butler, Pennsylvania. It happened almost very close to where what happened to President Trump. It really makes you think about how different the country would be, if we would even be a country, had that bullet met its mark. Washington was traveling down from Fort LaBeouf, which is basically Lake Erie today, not far from there. He had been sent up by the Crown. He was a lieutenant colonel in the militia for the Crown, and he was basically supposed to tell the French, you're on the colony's property, you need to move. And of course, the French commander was like, yeah, I'm not having anything to do with that. And he sent Washington on his way. Well, what Washington didn't know is that he sent French-aligned Indians posing as scouts to help him along the way. And one of them turned, stepped 15 paces away, and shot directly at Washington. But because rifling wasn't in guns at that time, it swung to Washington's left and narrowly missed him.
In Butler, Pennsylvania, it's so wild. He was 21 years old, you write in the book. Hey, how about this? You were supposed to interview President Trump that day. I think the next day you spoke to him on the phone, if I'm not mistaken, 7 times, and it was mostly him calling you. Yeah. He really wanted to talk about this, and obviously he knew you were right there in the line of fire with him, but 7 times in one day, he wanted to get a lot off his chest?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So President Trump had seen me just before he went on stage. He wanted to say hello. I was supposed to fly to Bedminster with him to do an interview about Pennsylvania. And so his last recollection, right, is talking to me. Then he goes on stage. 6 minutes later, he's shot at. So he calls me the first thing the next morning, and he says to me, Salena, how are you? Is your daughter okay? Is your son-in-law okay? And I'm so sorry that interview didn't happen. And I kind of swore, because I was like, are you bleeping kidding me, Mr. President? You've just been shot. And I just thought that was so thoughtful of him to see if I was okay. He would go on to call me a total of 7 times. We had some very in-depth conversations. And probably if I was a different reporter, I would have pushed him. But I felt that he needed to sort things out and to talk about things with someone that had experienced, although I wasn't shot, I was right in the line of fire. And so we talked about why he decided to move his neck in that moment. He said, Salena, I never do that. He said, why did I put that chart down? I said, I don't know. I joked with him, did you think you were Ross Perot? And so we had these conversations about God, about the hand of God, and what his purpose now was, because he believed that he had a higher purpose. And I wanted to get to the point where you made about nobody panicked, right? And nobody was screaming and yelling in that crowd. And I think it has a lot to do with his decision about why he said fight, fight, fight. He told me, and he's repeated this just a couple weeks ago, I wasn't Donald Trump when I said fight, fight, fight. I was representing the country. I was saying that so that I'm supposed to project our grit, our exceptionalism, our strength. I have to do that for the country.
I'm sorry, Salena, there's the music. The book is right here, and it's available wherever books are sold.